There's two types of investors. The first investor looks at this chart and says silver is performing poorly. I'm not touching it with the 10-foot pole. I may even exit right now before things get worse. The second investor looks at this chart and says silver is undervalued. I better jump in now or lower my dollar per ounce average. The first person is investing off of emotion. The second person is investing off of logic. Silver is still declining, and I highly recommend that you do take advantage of these low prices. If you want probably the best deal online right now, bullionmax.com/silverslayer is going to take you to this page. This is the silver starter kit. 5 ounces of silver at below employee pricing. It's only one per household, meaning you can only buy this once. It's a limited time. I don't know how much longer they're going to keep this offer up, but we're talking about coins that are $40, $45, but you're paying the price of basically 5 generics. That's why it's one per household. If you do want to take advantage of this offer, it's free shipping on orders over $199. So make sure you grab an ounce or two extra just to put you over that threshold. Remember, bullionmax.com/silverslayer. So we can see this chart right here. This is the 1 week chart. It's just steadily going downwards. How much farther, you ask? Who knows? All we know right now is that the information given is not looking too hot for silver. So what's going on? Why is this happening? Well, here's why. Silver prices fall to $21 as Fed tightens rates to fight inflation. Now, this is pretty interesting. The Federal Reserve's imminent move to raise interest rates by 50 basis points next week continues to take its toll on precious metals. So, right now, silver has the worst month in 7, or they worded this really weird, but the worst month in 7 in April, lags far behind gold. And I think they meant it's down 7% for its biggest loss in 7 months. They worded that very interestingly. It's definitely a typo, but regardless, that's what's happening. After soaring to a 9-month high of $27.50 an ounce on March 8th, as it joined gold and most other commodities, rallying in aftermath of the situation, silver has now fallen on relatively hard terms. See, silver is much more volatile than gold is. That's why they call it the devil's metal and a riskier version of gold, because silver is a much smaller market. So when things happen like this, yes, it can reach higher highs, but it also can reach lower lows. If gold's going to rise 10%, silver's going to rise 15, but also for the opposite. So in Friday's Asian trading, silver's front month futures on the New York COMEX were hovering at under $24 an ounce after opening the year at $22.84. While that left the price just slightly in the positive for silver, the 7% drop for all of April would be silver's biggest for a month of since the 8% slump in September 2021. So comparing that with gold, silver was in a much worse spot. Gold was up over 4% on the year and looked poised to finish April down just over 2%. Anytime there's economic uncertainty, people are going to transfer into safe haven metals like gold and silver. Usually gold, since it's more of a store of value. Silver, yes, it is a store of value essentially, but there's also the industrial sector. So it's this almost 50-50 situation where it's not going to pull as much as something like gold. Gold only flourishes when things are in bad shape. Silver can also flourish when things are in good shape, meaning it can affect it, but just not as much, especially since it's a smaller market. Even so, in Asian trading on Friday, the COMEX gold futures hovered at $1,910, sharply off this situation at a high of almost $2,079 on March 8th. Silver at times appeared like the forgotten stepchild of precious metals bucket, and not only just to gold, but to all commodities, right? All commodities kind of took off, and silver is just lagging behind, and partly due to silver's more industrial use. That's going to benefit silver eventually, but right now, as most of the price influence is from the dollar side of things and not supply and demand, it's going to affect silver negatively. But in the future, what silver separates from gold today is actually going to benefit it, in my opinion. So the problem with silver, though, is while it's officially clumped in the precious metals bucket along with gold, palladium, and platinum, it's really more of an industrial metal in terms of applications and demand, what I was literally just talking about. So more than 50% of silver's demand originates from industrial use. As a malleable metal, it's just as good as gold for jewelry making. It also has proven conductor of electricity and is used extensively in manufacture of electronic components, which is definitely going to help silver and not so much gold, since gold's only used for basically jewelry. Industrial demand for silver has been a little slow to take off this year as sectors of the US and global economy continued to suffer from the supply chain disruptions caused by the 2-year-long situation. I don't think people realize how big of an issue supply chain disruptions are. I mean, this all started actually before the global situation with the US China trade negotiations. If you guys remember, it was like the Iran tensions, the Saudi Arabian oil fields getting attacked, and then the U.S. China trade negotiations, which led it right into the situation. I can't even say the word because it's probably going to cut this video out of the YouTube algorithm. Just how YouTube works. But anyways, that's what led into that. But since the U.S. China trade negotiations, there was already starting this controversial situation that actually was affecting the price of silver heavily. I remember making videos back then just on that situation alone, saying, yo, something big is starting to cook up. And then that happened, the global situation, and it was just off from there. You would think that silver was heavily affected to the positive side from all this, but then you have to incorporate all the other geopolitical stuff, the macroeconomic factors, plus price suppression as well. Also, prices are typically joined at the hip with gold, rising and falling in tandem with the yellow metal. Silver trades at a fraction of the price of gold, often called the poor man's gold, so much there's even a gold to silver ratio that serves as a benchmark for the valuation of silver. The gold to silver ratio, though, explains a lot, as it was 125 to 1 in March of 2020, and then we see it at down to what, 75 something today, meaning silver has astronomically outperformed gold. And actually, silver was the number one performing asset in 2020. Number one. Gold was like number 5. Silver was number 1, beating Tesla stocks, Amazon, all that. So yes, silver might be looking bad, but you got to remember the average price of silver for the last 10 years was $15. I've been making YouTube videos since around 2015 on this channel, daily videos, why you should subscribe. I remember the first time silver broke past $20 was in the July 2016 high, and we all like celebrated. If you're a newer silver stacker, you might say silver is only $23, whatever, that's so low. But if you've been stacking for more than a year or two, that's actually up a lot. I mean, I remember making videos when silver was $15, $14, right? 16, 17. I remember when it got up to 18, we were like, holy crap, is it going to break through 20? Also, you got to remember in 2011, a little over 10 years ago, silver was $50. So if you're looking at it just from the immediate term, things might not look too hot, but when you step back and look at the bigger picture, a lot has happened, and it's not just for the worse. If you started last year when silver was $30 during the Wall Street silver movement, yes, it might look bad, but if you can step back a little bit, look at the bigger picture, which is always the best thing to do, you get a better perspective, things aren't that bad right now. And actually, it's a perfect time to get in. So seldom does silver break out or plunge on its own without gold rallying or falling as a catalyst, but gold can and has traded independently of silver, outshining silver in most sessions. And like I said, I think in the next 10 years, it's going to be opposite, where silver separates and actually takes on a life of its own for the better. Last year was a stellar one for silver demand. The Silver Institute's latest World Silver Survey reported that the global silver market realized growth in every demand category in 2021, and that is marking the first tandem growth for all key sectors of the metal since 1997, surpassing the pre-situation volumes. Total global silver demand achieved its highest level since 2015, surging 19% to over 1 billion ounces. Now, physical silver investment, sales of silver coins and bars leaped by 36% to 278 million ounces, its highest level since 2015, as retail investors in North America and Europe, motivated by safe haven and inflationary concerns, took advantage of the periodically lower silver prices to purchase coins and bars, right? They are entering The US Mint sold 5 million ounces the first month of January this year. In 2020, the US Mint sold out of Eagles. In 2021, we saw a lot of a lot of situations where they wouldn't even accept orders. JM Bullion site crashed from so much traffic. It was insane. And now, not only is the U.S. Mint talking about a silver shortage, they're actually going up against Congress right now, non-compliant with all of just the massive amounts of silver that is needed, but they can't fork up. But also Royal Mint and the Perth Mint and even the Mexican Mint all also admitting and acknowledging that there is a massive silver shortage and they're having an extremely hard time finding these silver blanks. Right now, supply failed to keep up with last year's surge in demand with the deficit of 51 million ounces, noted the biggest fray here since 2010. Obviously, 2010 was right before silver hit $50. So this year, industrial demand for silver is expected to rise to a new record, driven largely by growth in solar and electrical applications. Remember that. We're just now starting the green revolution, and demand is already expected to break new records. Imagine in like 3, 4, 5 years from now what the demand would look like. If we're already setting records and we're just now starting the green revolution, by 2030, every automobile company is going to be electric. That's in 8 years from now, 7, 8 years from now. We're just slowly transitioning. When we're in the middle of it, in 2026, what is the demand going to look like then? Right now is 1 billion ounces. Imagine if it's 3 or 4 billion ounces. There's no possible way we're going to be able to keep up with that type of demand. I mean, production can only go so far, and if we're trying to play catch up, that's going to take double the time, especially noting the lack of silver and how most silver is found as a byproduct by accident. So he also noted that investment demand is more of a wild card, though the returns of 2022 could still be substantial for silver and other precious metals due to the threats of the war, inflation, along with possible further underperformance of financial markets. So where is silver headed from here? Prices could head down to even $21 levels by next week and ultimately test the low 20s. And if it breaks below 20, I could see it going down to 17, 18 fast, just because, that's such a psychological level. $20 compared to the 18s, 19s. Just looking at it even if it's 19.99, kind of like when people price something 19.99 compared to $20, that 1 penny just looks so much cheaper. Same type of thing I think would happen with silver. That psychological support level that it breaks below would just cause things to go into extreme oversold territory. Spot silver dropped to $22.99 to test the $22 level, and that 8-day losing streak only paused due to the oversold relative strength indicator, and that's uh, on the uses of silver or spot silver as his gauge. Right now, I kind of want to wrap this up right here. So, of course, bulls would like to see long-term moving averages turn up, but for now, they are reflecting choppy price action, something that will eventually give way to directional trend. At the end of the day, why would you want to spend more money on silver if you could get it for cheaper? If you're going to go to the store and buy a watch you wanted, and the watch is $2,000, but you hold off, or maybe you buy it at 2,000, then you go back to the store 3 months later and the watch is at a huge discount at $1,500. Wouldn't you be happy that you get to pay 1,500, or wouldn't you be regretful that you could have paid 1,500 instead of 2,000? Why would you want the price to go up? Why would you want to have to pay more? People get happy when the price of silver is going upwards. If you're not planning on selling anytime soon, then there should be no reason why you want the price to go up. That just means you need validation and confirmation that it can. A real silver stacker knows that it will. We don't need to see the price start to go up for us to be happy or feel that silver can. We know it can. It already has. It was $50, just a little over 10 years ago. Obviously, especially looking forwards, as we know what affects the price of silver and what the inevitable outcome of the dollar is and the shortage, we already know it's going to. So why not take advantage right now, especially incorporating premiums that are going to keep getting higher? Get in now. Don't exit. Don't worry and think you made a wrong decision because you didn't. That's just lack of understanding silver markets. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. If you thought this video was 1, educational, 2, informational, 3, at least entertaining, make sure to hit the like button. Also, remember to grab the silver starter kit. 5 ounces of silver at below employee price, and we're talking about a Type 2 Eagle, 2022 Kangaroos, even a Britannia with the new security feature. Also, a 1 ounce Buffalo and a 1 ounce bar. I mean, this is a great deal. I'm also working on my other 15 ounce Silver Slayer Deluxe kit. I'm going to handpick 15 ounces and we're going to have an insane price for it. And it's only going to be available to my audience. So I think it's going to be really cool that, this little Silver Slayer community gets an opportunity to get an insane silver deal. So anyways, yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Let me know what you think about all this. Do you think silver is going to keep going downwards? If you look at the 1 month chart, it's looking like it might, but obviously this could go back up. I mean, who knows how long, though. Regardless, if you're not planning on selling anytime soon, it really doesn't matter. Thanks for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.